Another great day to get your butt kicked out on the track by a former Olympic decathlete or Olympic hopeful. We'll talk about more of that later. I'm your host, Rex Stevens, in studio with former MLB catcher and current scout for the Chicago Cubs, Adam Melhuse. Adam, been on the road for a little while, back in town. How was it in Arizona? God, does every team meet in Arizona now? Is that kind of
There's about half. Deal? About half of them, yeah. Good to be back. A little hiatus there for a couple weeks. Had to skip out, make you miss me for a little bit and want me back. But no, it was fun. A little chilly for the Arizona weather that I'm used to, but it was fun. Pitchers and catchers reporting, the sound of the gloves and the bats again gets those juices flowing.
No question. I'm excited about tonight's show. In studio as well right now, a friend of mine, colleague, and maybe some of your you people listening, he's your chiropractor out there, Dr. Sandy Sachs in studio. Sandy, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
It is good stuff. I just thinking about it out there. We just met this girl, Leighton, out there, and I got to give a shout out to my son. I know you'll do the same to yours. One of my son's names is Leighton, and she was excited to hear somebody knew the name, and she always gets it confused or people confuse her thinking it's going to be a male coming in. They see the name Leighton, and what is it that I always hear, when somebody calls in and says, yeah, I'm going to go see Sandy. I thought I was seeing a
girl.
I thought I was seeing a girl.
But a little surprised.
We don't have the name like classic Adam here. I mean, you go back, hey, look, Jew here, Christian, but we both know the same, that the Old Testament's the same, though, no matter how you read it. And the first name, right? Adam. Simple stuff.
Yeah, my wife's father's name is Kim, K-I-M.
Oh, so, another confuser. It's tough stuff out there. But I wanted to get to it, right away. But for you listeners, if you're just tuning in and you haven't tuned in before, this show is Living the Run. We talk everything health and fitness. You can find us on livingtherun.com, Facebook /Living the Run. We put these podcasts up every week, each and every week, promoting local events. Great event, again, March Triathlon Series coming out at Lake Lopez, Sunday, March 24th, 2013. Sandy, you know these guys pretty well. You've kind of hooked up over there at the Cal Poly Triathlon Club. You've talked to some of these guys. You've seen it. Good group over there, huh? Good energy, good people to be around.
This is by far one of the great triathlons out there. This is run solely by Cal Poly volunteerism through the club, and they put on a great race every year. And who wouldn't want to be at Lopez Lake in the springtime? Although one year it did snow. And people did ride their bikes in their wetsuits. So hopefully the weather's better this year.
Yeah, I hope so. Kind of like what Adam was saying about Arizona sometimes get cold. Well, hey guys, I was out there today. Sandy, you were out there last week with me. We got April 9th. Half marathon and full marathon here in SLO. Second one, Dean Karnazes going to be here. Huge event. We were training last week on the track, Cal Poly Wednesday. You kind of jumped ship on me today, and so you put me out there, with Rando and a former Olympic hopeful in the decathlon. I'll tell you, that guy can fly, and he definitely embarrassed me. And I'd like to say it's because he's 10 years younger. It's just that he's quite a bit faster.
Honesty is a good deal. I mean, as long as we can call a spade there, but no, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like an English guy I saw today. He goes, you think you're good until you see somebody who actually is. Yeah. And that's kind of how it was on the track. But good running. As you prep into this thing as a chiropractor coming in, talk about open and honest. I mean, we talk about it a lot. The little aches and pains that come through. I think a lot of times people think, hey, you're in the wellness profession, everything must be smooth sailing for you, but it obviously isn't.
It obviously isn't. The other day I had someone come in and they said, I went running and I'm sore. What do you think? And I had to ask myself, I'm not sure, because you're going to be a little sore when you run, and it's when that soreness over time becomes a problem that we get a little concerned. But I had those runs. You go out, you have this amazing run. Next day, you can't walk, and throughout the day, your body gets a little better, and you're ready for your next run the next day. So it happens.
No question. And, Adam, we were talking about a little bit, some frustrating things with your back. I know you've talked about. And one of the things I think, Sandy and Adam, is we're looking at adaptation over time. I mean, certainly at 22, 23, finishing college, getting into the big leagues, different type of deal with your body, and being able to adapt both mentally and physically to the changes that occur, and not feeling limited. not mentally getting down on yourself that you can't do what you once did, but being able to appropriately adapt your workouts such that you don't feel like you're breaking down more than you're building up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those deals where, you know, again, we're talking honesty here. It's like, you know, I honestly think I'm 21 still. So, you know, which is part of the problem. But, you know, it's like in such a world or society of compare and contrast with everything, whether it's car and house, which is obviously not something that I subscribe to or want to subscribe to. But you can't help but look around when you're in a gym somewhere, and you look around and see somebody else your age doing something similar or thereabouts and going, okay, if this guy can do it, I should be able to do it. And then, you know, with me personally, you know, some back issues that seem to have flared up, whether that's from baseball wear and tear, I don't know. I assume so. It's just like the frustrating part is like, you know, I'm a healthy individual. I should be able to participate in a physically demanding workout with not this little voice in the back of my head going, be careful, you might get hurt, you know. So I don't know. I'm hoping you give me an answer after the show of what to do or what not to do.
Yeah, we'll get an answer. But, you know, Sandy talked about that, and I got to give you props, too, because you kicked my butt the week before. It wasn't just a 28-year-old rando Olympic hopeful. But
we were living the glory days.
Yeah, living the run. You know, you same thing. You know, you used to compete a little bit more in the triathlon world, compete a little bit more in the swimming world. Talk about how you've kind of approached some of that adaptation mentally and physically going in and saying, hey, now I'm over 40. I'm not going to limit myself, but I'm going to make some changes going along the way.
Let's see. Well, my wife always says that whenever someone tells them they got an issue, she goes, you know, Sandy, he's done everything. He's done everything from foam rolling to massage to chiropractic to acupuncture to trying different supplements. And, you know, the reality over time that I've learned is that you do get your aches and pains. And I've come to realize that as a chiropractor, we're kind of like fire tenders. You know, you got the fire out the campfire, you know, late at night, it's finally going down, you're about to go to sleep, and you got to decide, you know, what are you going to do with it? You're going to put it out completely, or are you going to just let it burn slowly? And the environment can do things. It can flare it up, or it could just go gently through the night. And, you know, we have that. We go out and we train, and we go sit for long periods of time, and the fires get flamed up. We get inflamed, we get farther along, and having ways to tend to those fires, whether it be rest, whether it be chiropractic, whether it be an alteration in our biomechanics or training, it all does the same thing. It reduces those flames to make it through another day.
Hey, that's such a good point, you know, and we'll be talking to Virginia in a little bit, and we talk food a lot, and I think that fire analogy is genius with regards to what are you doing to put energy into your system, too. And there's so many different avenues. We're getting bombarded with supplements, getting bombarded with advertising and so forth, but is the energy system, are you putting on kindling? Are you putting on logs, sustainable types of energy? Or are you just throwing paper at the fire? And what can you expect based on what you're putting in as well? Fire analogy, it's a brilliant one. I enjoy that.
Well, and just to back up a step, it's, you know, the competitiveness that's in all of us is, you know, you go to the gym and work out and leave, and an hour later go, I should have done more. I could have done more. I left a little in the gym, you know, or if somebody else is in there and you're trying to keep up with them or whatever, it's that competition. And if it's a solo workout and you're by yourself, it's, you know, okay, how hard do I push myself? And, you know, because you're in there, I mean, to be healthy, but also to make progress. So you got to keep pushing the envelope in order to make progress, or else you stay at the same weight. So it's like, when is it too much? When is it not enough? You know, I mean, you push yourself to your break and go, okay, well, there's my limit. So, you know, maybe I need to back off. You know, I mean, let's face it, we could go in and get a decent workout and probably not make a whole heck of a lot of progress, but have a good workout and we're healthy. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I'll just speak for myself. I want to, you know, this is my avenue to compete. My competition days are over. So, you know, you hear about baseball guys on the golf course now all the time, gambling and that type of stuff, but just to get those competitive juices flowing. So, hey, if it's in a workout, if it's out on the track, if it's in a, a try or whatever it is, that's an outlet to compete. So I don't know.
Yeah, no question. You hear about that Michael Jordan a lot. The guy can't do anything without competing. Everything's got to be a competition. It makes it tough. And I think some of it, and we'll talk about maybe a little bit more later, is how do you evaluate what you're doing, and are you actually meeting a standard that gets you healthier? Are you potentially creating regression? We talked about antioxidants a couple weeks ago, where you can actually accelerate the aging process by overtraining and over-exercising. But let's talk just a little bit here. Sandy, you know this guest very well. She used to work with us. So stoked to have her on her own, running Vert Foods now. Virginia Merrim, thanks for joining us as always.
Of course, it's the old man's club, apparently.
Oh, geez, she gets the jab in early.
Well, I'm glad.
We're trying to stay young we're trying to stay young with food like you provide.
Well, that's good, because almost all the food I provided this evening has lots of anti-inflammatory qualities. So that kind of worked out nicely.
Hey, talk a little bit about the event that you were just at and where this food came from and what you guys were doing.
Yeah, I was teaching a course last night at the Central Coast Culinary Arts School here in town. It's right behind Smart and Final. And the class that I taught last night was a class on superfoods, which is, again, one of those funny, trendy words that we hear in the sort of nutritional world. And the concept of the class was sort of letting people understand what that means when they see marketers throw things and say, superfood or a superfood bar, or whatever they want to call it, and then teaching them how to embrace it and cook with those foods themselves, and how to sort of create meals that are what are technically a superfood. So a superfood just means something that is one of the higher nutrient-based foods, whether it's in minerals or vitamins. An actual item of food itself contains a lot of what you will need. So kale is a common example.
Mac's already in hysterics here. He takes a look at these Tupperwares and he just more amazed each and every week. Talk a little bit about it, because you got a few things here, but I kind of wanted to hone in on the salmon on the, what are those endives, I guess.
That's romaine lettuce leaves, and I'm glad you brought that up, because romaine lettuce leaf is actually a superfood that is overlooked quite a bit. Romaine lettuce leaf is one of the higher vitamin leaves out there. It's got vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin E, and tons of vitamin C. It's not a dark leafy green like we've been told always to eat, but it is one of the highest lettuces in nutrients. People used to eat Caesar salads with anchovies on it, so they got both their vitamins and minerals and their omega-3s in a salad, and it was a great idea. We've kind of lost that trend, but please don't get rid of romaine lettuce. It's great for you to eat. So that's a wild salmon bruschetta scooped out on a lettuce leaf. So that whole dish in itself is anti-inflammatory, filled with vitamin C. The basil has tons of phosphorus and magnesium and other sort of binding qualities that help your muscles repair. So that's a great one for athletes.
Hey, you start talking about anchovies again, and Max and I, our eyes open up big. We start thinking about that sauce that you had on that chicken a couple weeks ago. How do people get these recipes? How do these people find you? How do these people learn how to use you and better improve their health through nutrition?
Well, I'm always online on my website, which is Vert Foods. That's plural, and the word Vert is French for green. So just VERT and then foods.com. And then I'm on Facebook actively, and then all my recipes go up on Living the Run as well.
Awesome stuff, as always. Thanks so much, Virginia, for your insights
and
for feeding our our stomachs.
Eat your dinner.
Yeah, love it.
One.
Hey, thanks. As always, Sandy, she's been bringing in stuff each and every week. You've tried her stuff. We've had it at the clinic and so forth. It's just this stuff is incredible, incredible every week, and it's so simple.
I love hearing Virginia talk. I mean, the way she discusses all the different nutrients and all the foods makes you ask the simple question: why would you eat anything different?
That's good stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming back from the break. More with Sandy Sachs, Adam Melhuse here on Living the Run.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
The ultimate choice for sports massage in SLO County? Peak Performance. Conveniently located at SLO Wellness Center just blocks from Cal Poly is ready to assist you to reach your personal best. Calling all athletes and fitness enthusiasts. If you're ready to start alleviating symptoms by addressing the true problems, if you are seeking efficient and effective body work, then you can count on Peak Performance. Nagging injury, losing the bounce in your step, pain or tightness keeping you from training hard and reaching your goals? Raise your standards, raise your expectations. Call Peak Performance 543-8688.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff puts your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back to Living the Run in studio. Chiropractor Sandy Sachs, scout for the Chicago Cubs, Adam Melhuse, and of course, left you out last time, Max. Producer Max Woodcock. We can't leave you out. I mean, when it comes down to it, this show just doesn't run very well when you're not here. I mean, it is.
Don't ask me to fill in on the soundboard. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I mean, it's not good asking other people that apparently know what they're doing to get on the soundboard. Max is the guy. He fixes it. Last week, Sandy, we had, so I know you take your son to the basketball games quite a bit. On the background, we start the show. And you're hearing the warm-ups. What was down in Long Beach? I think it was down in Long Beach. You're hearing the warm-ups for the Cal Poly game. They're doing like check, check, check on the mic. You got guys in the background shooting balls. You're hearing balls bounce all over the floor.
I heard that on the I went online and saw that. And props to you. You just mowed right through with sound in the background, and you were just like, the concentration level was at an all-time high right there.
What about you, Max? What'd you do at that point? Did you call the show?
Come on, Max. Yeah, Max was hard on the cell phone. He was texting.
You just gotta hassle him. You gotta hassle him, and then you gotta just turn him off. So.
Yeah. Well, I think we talk about this. Don't forget CJ Silas show coming on after us at 7:00 here on ESPN 1280. The Ticket. Max, I was thinking about it. We keep kind of talking about the show getting bigger, getting more employees in here. We see CJ come in with her entourage, routine, and it seems like there's this paid staff, and then we kind of walk in, and it was one of those things. We had a couple of changes in guests this week. Had to kind of finagle some things around, so the team is working well. It seems like we're continuing to produce, and we keep showing up here at 6:00 on Wednesdays.
Speaking of guests, I ran into our buddy Eric Burns in Arizona. He was doing a segment on the Cubs for MLB channel.
Got it. We got to get Eric back.
Yeah, we got to get him back on. And when I go back out, in a couple weeks, I will track him down. He wants to get some dinner, so I'll make him commit to another show for us.
Yeah, for those of you who don't remember Eric Burns, take a look at that podcast. This guy is wild. Tremendous major league outfielder. Played for a bunch of years. He's on the MLB Network now. He runs his own radio show up in the Bay Area, Sandy KMBR. I don't know if you remember that one, but anyway, yeah, he's just a great guy. Great interview. He's getting into triathlons now and really kind of kicking butt. And we got him after that first Ironman that he did actually in Arizona. And he'd be a great guest to get back on this show for sure.
Yeah, it's just a bummer that he doesn't have much energy.
Well, I tell you, let's dive right into that because this is a topic that's absolutely killing me. I read an article yesterday, and we get Virginia from Vert Foods. She gets whole foods, raw foods, local foods, and puts them all together and nails it. Right? Every time. No wasted energy, no wasted fluff, no anything. Check this out. I read this article yesterday that the milk industry, and of course this has been one of my pet peeves for a long time, dairy industry, its power, they're probably second to none, maybe second to oil, who knows. But these guys, you know what they're doing now? They are lobbying to put artificial sweetener in the milk. How about take your milk, put a little Equal in it? How about you want a little low-fat milk with some aspartame? How about a little Splenda?
Maybe you have to be kidding.
This is incredible, but check it out.
Because it lowers the sugar content,
It lowers the sugar content, lowers the caloric intake. And what are they going to do, Sandy? They're going to go after what? Well, guess what? America has a childhood obesity problem. So we're here to the rescue.
With toxins.
We're just going to give them some neurotoxins. Gosh darn it. I mean, this is unbelievable. Think about that. Milk with Equal. Milk with Splenda. As if milk isn't a problem as it is. I mean, go watch Farmageddon. If you haven't seen that documentary, Farmageddon, Genius, Food Inc., any of these, Food Matters, all these ones kind of touch on what's happening in the animal product industry. And we know we got some problems there, but really?
What's interesting is, with the Cubs, we have a new third base coach, and I actually played for his father in Colorado. He has a younger brother who I played with in the Rockies organization. But anyways, we got to talking one day in the outfield, and we were just hanging out, and it was interesting because, there's all kinds of topics, immunization, where do people stand, and in one of the topics being food and stuff like that, and it's kind of like, we don't give our kid milk, and he's like, well, we don't either. I'm like, we give goat milk, we do too. And I'm like, okay, so we hit it off. We're talking, and he's like, hey, listen, we just bought in, and I think they actually called it stock, but in a goat.
Yeah.
And so they're in Arizona. They found a gal who has the farm where they go and they meet at this undisclosed location, and that you go and you get the milk. I mean, there was just a documentary, and I can't think of the name of what it was, but it was about the milk. And they all met, and the guys.
Farmageddon.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
okay. And the FDA comes in, just starts dumping out all their milk, and I'm just like, God, in the sheep, they killed all the guys' sheep from. Yep. I mean, that's just it chapped me so bad. But I mean, it's just it's sad.
It's incredible out there, and that's why you're seeing a big run at chickens. You got chickens, Sandy. You got a few.
Love having the chickens.
Yeah. Are they staying alive? You've had a couple of rough goes with some of those chickens.
Having chickens in the urban environment a little bit tough, but we just recently relocated our chickens to a nice family farm down the street, and they're alive and well.
Oh wow! Got rid of them.
It was that traumas? Or our marriage. Yes.
Oh, was it too many traumas?
God, so wait a minute. For a potential father, husband that we
want chickens.
What are the challenges?
Animals, raccoons.
Okay.
Yeah, and as long as they don't die on your watch, you're all's good. But if they die on your watch, you got a little trouble.
So I got to build like a 2-story chicken. You get them way off the ground or something.
Yeah, protect those chickens.
Hey, Adam, you were here. Rich Subert, offensive lineman for the New York Giants. We had him a few weeks ago. I just saw his chicken coop this last weekend. Thing is solid, pretty foolproof, and I don't think there's going to be any animals taking his chickens on. So go take a look at that model. I'm going to do it myself.
I got a chicken coop for you if you want to come by.
Okay. Well, it doesn't sound like it worked too well. Unless it's free, I'm not taking it.
See, Sandy will sell you that chicken coop. You know, you just lose one a week. It's not that big a deal. Yeah.
Let me pencil that out. Let me do the numbers there.
See if that works.
Well, hey, I'll take some eggs. If you got some extra eggs, I'd love to eat your eggs for you.
Well, what are we seeing? You know, you're seeing the price of eggs go through the roof, right? That's one reason people are doing it. They're also, again, seeing the torture of the chickens. And finally, people are wising up to this, right, Sandy? We've talked about this before, is this idea that somehow there was this ranking in the meat, right? The fish were the best for us, and then it was the chicken, and then maybe the pork, and then it was that awful toxic red meat. And the reality is that was just one of the great scams out there, and that they were making toxic chicken at the same time they were making toxic beef, and they were making toxic salmon at the same time. And we just kind of convinced people, almost with some conspiracy, if you will, going down the wrong path. But what a genius thing to get chickens.
Was that the Forks Over Knives? Is that the...
Well, Forks Over Knives talks about it. A bunch of the documentaries are going in on it. Let's say, Max wants to weigh in here.
Yeah, did you see that article that came out recently? I didn't read too much into it, but talked about they're trying to get past this new law that allows genetically modified grown salmon.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That grow at like 2 times the speed as normal salmon, and they're all, for... farm to table.
Yeah, no question, farm to table, and that was that was about a year ago. We heard about that whole thing, but no question about it. There's a problem in the animal product world. The dairy industry thing that kills me on that is where they're seeing competition. Right, we got competition with the almond milk. We got competition with the soy milk. We got competition with the coconut milk. Even they were close to having a problem politically where it was going to double the price on milk. They kind of got past that idea. But toxic product right now already, allergens galore out there for kids, and they're talking about making it more toxic. This is crazy stuff for us. Hey, Sandy, talk a little bit about when we talk about the chiropractic world. Sometimes we talk about the chiropractic story. How do you get into chiropractic? I know you and I have slightly different stories and why we took that route, but you got kind of a fun story when it comes to how you diverged into not only becoming a chiropractor, but how you started to use that instead of some of the traditional allopathic types of models.
Well, I love the name of the show, Living the Run, because it seems to epitomize my life a little bit. Although if I were to write my great American classic, it would start out with, I was riding tandem across the country with a blind and deaf woman. And I was riding tandem across the country with a blind and deaf woman, and I met a chiropractor. And it was part of a transcontinental triathlon. We swam in the major rivers and lakes. We ran in the major cities, and we biked a majority of the country. And I had the pleasure of riding tandem with a blind and deaf woman. So most people go, well, how'd you communicate? And she had a cochlear implant, so I was able to speak with her. And my biggest fear was falling. And guess what? In Ohio, I fell. And I was devastated. And I asked her, I said, look, do you still want to keep me around? She's like, oh, yeah, I've fallen before. But what happened is I was riding tandem across the country with a blind and deaf woman and met a chiropractor. And I was actually at an amusement park, and I don't usually admit this to anyone, but I guess I'm now admitting it to thousands of people. And this chiropractor gave me an adjustment for my neck. And
do we have that many listeners, Max? yeah. Okay, Max, give us the thumbs up. Yeah, we got that many.
and up to this point, I wanted to be a medical doctor. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be a physical therapist. I had gone to graduate school to be a coach in exercise physiology. And I got that adjustment. I realized as a chiropractor, I could be a little bit of everything. I could be a doctor. I could be a physical therapist, a nurse, a nutritionist, a coach, and real exciting, been an entrepreneur as well. So I called up my girlfriend at the time and said, hey, we're going to Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, for the summers and the winters, and got my chiropractic degree and never looked back.
It's a great story. It's we all hit it from different avenues, and how we get to where we get, with the goals of our life. And I kind of heard it in your voice today, Adam, is that you're sensing, hey, the health is important to me. My health really means a whole heck of a lot, and it really kind of means everything. And I need to make sure I'm putting my balls in the right court to be able to make those scenarios such that my health, I get the maximum out of it, the longevity out of it. And, you listen to Sandy, he kind of figured it out there. It's like, hey, this is the avenue I got to take to maximize my potential at where I'm at.
Oh, definitely. And again, I'm speaking for myself. No matter what I do, I want to I want to do it the best I can possibly do it. Otherwise, why do it? I mean, that's kind of my philosophy, and I'm not saying that's the right philosophy. There's plenty of philosophies out there, and but I mean, just for me personally, is like if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna do it to the max, and I want to do it to the utmost max. So whether that's working out, nutrition, being here in San Luis with all these different resources. Embarrassed to say, like, last couple of years have been when I've really been able to connect with that and finally realize, I mean, I literally can make myself dizzy at night going online and Googling all these different things on, okay, I'm going to cut out meat. A week later, I'm like, why would I ever cut out meat? I want to, this, canine tooth that I have in my mouth is made for chomping meat. So why would I cut, so then it's like, okay, there's different qualities. There's grass-fed, there's corn-fed. Let me dive into that. Okay, grass-fed is where it's at. Okay, milk, bad. Okay, let's get away from milk. We're going almond milk now. We're not going to give it to our kids. So, again, it's just dizzying. So no matter what it is, 2 weeks from now, I'm probably onto something else. But if I don't feel like I am constantly evolving and constantly, if I just feel sedentary, I get pretty depressed.
Yeah, and ecstatic and no motion. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit more after the break. Next week, we're going to have Bill Grunler from CrossFit, right, Adam? We got him coming in, which should be pretty fun. We'll talk CrossFit. We'll talk a little bit of paleo. And Max, what was the shake in the head there when I said, get the balls in the right court? I can't figure that out. I guess it's time to go to break. Hey, if you missed any of this, again, go to livingtherun.com, facebook.com/livingtherun. Check out our podcast. You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN 1280 Ticket. When we come back, Sandy Sachs is going to talk about an article he wrote, High Heels Hurt. I want to hear a little bit more about that. It was well written. We want to talk a little bit about posture and those things. Stick with us.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
My name is Chris Randolph, and as a local track and field Olympic hopeful, I've been seeing Brian Quigley at SLO Wellness Center to help me with injury recovery during my season. Brian has not only helped me with some very extensive injuries, but has also educated me on the specifics of how my body moves when I compete. His knowledge and touch has helped me achieve personal bests in my competition and has also helped me in injury prevention. Becoming a wellness patient of his has helped me stop my injuries before they start, making time spent recovering shorter, leaving more time spent training for my goals. From injury prevention to wellness, Brian understands the patient and holistically helps them achieve their personal health-related goals. So check out Brian Quigley at peakperformanceslo.com and find him on Facebook and comment a response to this ad and get a complimentary 60-minute massage.
Tired of taking supplements when you have no idea if they're working or not? Frustrated by not feeling or seeing measurable results with your vitamins? Looking for a new job or a little extra spending money? Do you know anyone with headaches, chronic pain, inflammation, autoimmune disease, or any other malady they just can't shake? Come learn about a breakthrough product that is scientifically supported, plant-based, and is used daily all over the world to combat age-related disease. Learn how this product is the only one of its kind on the publicly traded market to address the fundamental causes of accelerated aging, otherwise known as oxidative stress. If you want to learn how to reduce inflammation, save money by eliminating 90% of your supplement regime, and provide residual income for your family, call 805-234-7816. No gimmicks, just hardcore science on free radicals, antioxidants, and oxidative stress finally being revealed accurately and honestly. Call today to find out more. That's 805-234-7816.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back to Living the Run here on ESPN 1280. the ticket. Hey, stick around for CJ Silas show coming on after us. She's got JD Scroggin from the Telegram Tribune, I should say, and they're talking influential women in sports. That's a good topic. Always an enjoyable topic, and you can go back a ways. I was talking actually to Rando today as he was, well, I was talking to his backside because that's all I could see. He was smoking me on the track, but he was talking a little bit about the first woman he ever read about. I can't think of the lady's name, but the lady that held all the records. And we were talking about kind of when you get into a workout, starting a workout, sometimes you just don't feel that good. You get going 5 minutes, 10 minutes in, and you're like, man, this is going to be rough. It was kind of a starter like that for me today. And he said that this lady, who, again, it was held every record at the time, said she never evaluated. This is kind of interesting. Never evaluated where she was at until she'd been out at least 5 miles. She'd gone at least 5 miles, and then she would start to evaluate what her energy system was going to be. She didn't get into negative self-talk. She didn't get into the positive self-talk. So, when we scamper from the office, Sandy gets 8 minutes up to the track or whatever and go, man, I don't feel that good. Maybe we could spend a little bit more time in our evaluation process.
Last week we went running. It was classic. I mean, we started running out and felt okay. I was on such a high after our run, after we did our 800s, our mile run, our 400s. I got back to the office and I didn't even think twice about how I felt. Right before the run.
Yeah, no question. We were actually, Rando was saying that today too when we were coming in. He goes, gosh, it was just the perfect amount for the endorphin high, not get too sore, not get too tight. And I think that's what we were talking about, Adam, is how do you get that kind of a workout where you get that endorphin rush you're talking about, Sandy, and not get the irritability of the tissue, the inflammation, and that stuff that sticks around.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fine line. I mean, again, that's my battle is, am I going hard enough? Am I not going hard enough? And at the end of the day, I'm a husband and a father first, and if I'm broke down from a workout and can't be those people to the people who need me, I'm probably going a little too much. That's kind of my criteria.
Folks, that was Adam Melhuse, former Major League catcher. Scout for the Chicago Cubs, spilling his guts here on the radio. Hey, let's talk a little bit about posture here. We got Sandy Sachs, chiropractor, SLO Wellness Center here in studio. Posture is a big thing. It's a huge thing out there. We talk about the sedentary lifestyle. We've been talking about sedentary lifestyle versus smoking, even, and how you can kind of even compare those two. If you talk about 20-year spans of sitting too much versus smoking too much, we hear about postural things. You wrote a clever article not that long ago about high heels hurt, and it applies to more than just folks that wear high heels. But talk about what we see regularly with low back pain and the effect of things like high heels.
I think we need to clarify, though, that I'm not here in the studio wearing high heels.
Yeah. His name is Sandy. It is Sandy, but he is not wearing high heels.
One of my favorite songs by artist Greg Brown is Two Little Feet.
Oh, great song. Great song.
Two little feet, they'll carry where you go.
Max, do we have that?
All right.
Max can try to pull that up. 2 little feet.
Greg Brown. Anyway, wherever your feet go, the rest of your body follows. And, my female patients tend to hear me sometimes harass them when they walk in with their high heels. But if your feet aren't functioning well, if you're not putting your best foot forward, the rest of the chain up from your knees to your hips to your low back to even your neck can be compromised. And we talk about the human frame, and we're designed to adapt, and we do a fantastic job at it in our 20s and our 30s and our 40s and into our 60s, 70s, and 80s. But the downside of that is. There's Greg Brown.
There it is. Leave that in that background. Yeah, we can keep going.
Shout out to my wife there, Carla.
Oh yeah, this is a classic. This is when you stop. We're gonna let this roll a little bit. Let Two little feet to carry me away into the woods. Two little feet, like a mountain and the cloud coming down, cloud coming down, cloud coming down, cloud coming down. Isn't that genius? 2 little feet to get me in the woods. You know, we've even talked about it before on this show about Last Child in the Woods, people not getting outside. Almost gives me chills. This is just one of those songs that makes you feel like you got to get out. You rely on those body. Good call there.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good.
I like that. Max, we are becoming
Nice to pull that
a
one
real
off.
show. I like that. Pulling that in. I didn't realize that we could do that regularly. We got to get in. But, as we talk about posture a little bit, I think one of the things that bugs me, and we've talked a little bit, Adam, we had different docs on the show, but the idea that it has to be this voluntary thing, I think we've been kind of scammed in that respect too, well, we just had to change our chair. We just needed this an ergonomic assessment of our desk. We just need to change the computer height or, my forearm elbow height. Or I just need to pull my shoulders back. How many times do we hear that? I just forget. I'm not pulling my shoulders back and pushing my chest out. But the reality is that how could anyone possibly be thinking about that all day? And the message needs to be more about the reflexes that we have coming from our brain to our spine to get us upright. Right? They just want us to be extended. I mean, take the 1-year-old, right? Learning to walk. They're not thinking about putting their shoulders back and their chest up. Thinking about that posturally. The reflex is just growing. The synapses are happening, and those connections are being made, and they're upright. It's one of the things we miss, right? I mean, you talk about the high heels. I think about the high heels. What happens in the high heels? Balance gets goofy, right? Well, when the balance centers get goofy, the compensation has to start to happen. And so if we can get people moving, get people active, we continue to hear about more standing desks, that kind of stuff, we're going to be better off.
One of my favorite articles, you introduced me to it a couple years ago, where it said something, anthropologically, we were designed to drive our brain to get bigger through the health and postural muscles of our spine. And it's always set with me that as we have evolved, we've developed this extensive back system to keep us healthy and upright. And so much we do today is devolving us. We're sitting, we're rounding our shoulders, and we're wreaking havoc with our brain and our bodies.
So where's the new back store? I need a new back. Where is that on Craigslist?
Yeah.
Or where do I get that?
There's a pasture.
Yeah. How do I start over? Yeah, I think you got 23 hours left on eBay. That's it's just sitting there. I can't remember the lower limit on that one on cost.
Because mine's an outdated model. I mean, certainly with technology now, I could get the 2013 version.
Well, what a great phrase, de-evolutionize, and it kind of is. I mean, just kind of sometimes going backwards. And again, I mean, it sounds crazy, but we're about to put Splenda in milk. When you tell somebody that sitting isn't too good for them, they just often just go, it can't be that bad. Right?
Wait, what about this milk thing? Is that like a done deal?
No, it's not done. It's
okay.
being lobbied. But look, the dairy industry doesn't lose.
Right.
They don't lose.
Right.
Yeah. You already talked about it. Farmageddon, it's a great document. What are they out there? They're out there killing people, sheep, goats. They're dumping out product, cream, butter, milk, cheese, whatever. They're getting rid of it. So dairy industry wins, and, it is what it is. Thank God we live in San Luis. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Talk a little bit maybe how to avoid Splenda in your milk. We'll talk... It just doesn't even sound like it's possible. We say it, it's like, did I just say that? And we'll come back, we'll finish up with some posture tips and takeaways with Adam Melhuse and Sandy Sachs in studio.
You're listening to Living the Ride on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff put your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
Tired of taking supplements when you have no idea if they're working or not? Frustrated by not feeling or seeing measurable results with your vitamins? Looking for a new job or a little extra spending money? Do you know anyone with headaches, chronic pain, inflammation, autoimmune disease, or any other malady they just can't shake? Come learn about a breakthrough product that is scientifically supported, plant-based, and is used daily all over the world to combat age-related disease. Learn how this product is the only one of its kind on the publicly traded market to address the fundamental causes of accelerated aging, otherwise known as oxidative stress. If you want to learn how to reduce inflammation, save money by eliminating 90% of your supplement regime, and provide residual income for your family, call 805-234-7816. No gimmicks, just hardcore science on free radicals, antioxidants, and oxidative stress finally being revealed accurately and honestly. Call today to find out more. That's 805-234-7816.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, SLO Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at SLO Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, SLO Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
We're back with Living the Run.
Great show thus far. Great show as always on these Wednesdays. I swear we need more time. But coming up after us, the CJ Silas Show. Don't stick around. JD Scroggin from the Telegram Tribune. They're talking influential women in sports. Stick around here on ESPN 1280, The Ticket. Fun show. Chiropractor and colleague Sandy Sachs in studio along with Adam Melhuse. Good show. You know, we're talking posture. We're talking real food. Talk about that one of that favorite books we were talking at the break, In Defense of Food. Simple principles, but they go a long way.
You know, Adam, you were talking earlier about, it's complicated. What kind of food should I have? And should I do this? And how do I eke out that best performance? And Michael Pollan says it's so great. He says, look, eat food, not too much, mainly vegetables. And always we get asked, well, what about this ergogenic aid? What about this power bar? What about this energy bar? What should I do? And the first question should be, what real food are you eating? That's what Virginia's trying to do with Vert Foods. And if you're not eating real food, the question shouldn't even be, what's my ergogenic aid? It's okay to have an energy bar on the weekend, but if that's your main food, you're missing the point.
Yeah, you're so right on there. But Adam, talk about the reality of that among Major League Baseball players. That's not even close, is it? I mean, they're eating stuff out of the packages all day long. You got tables set up in the locker rooms, just one package thing after another. Tough stuff there.
You would be absolutely floored if you saw what was inside a Major League clubhouse, the stuff that they're I know the Cubs have a nutritionalist that stops by. I don't think she's on staff 24/7 type of thing, but she pops in and at least can get out some of the real bad junk. But that doesn't stop a guy from bringing in Popeye's chicken or whatever if he wants to bring it in. If he wants to, paid for a whole mess of it, then guys are going to eat it. But it's just a lack of education, I think, in my opinion, with the guys. I mean, she can talk to them till they're blue in the face, and whether they want to listen or not, it's unbelievable. I mean, that you wouldn't have. You think this is I'll call it a major corporation. It's a Major League Baseball team. Several dollars floating through the organization, and you're investing millions of dollars in players. And you would think, I mean, again, you can't make a guy do something, but you would think you would just hammer it home until their ears are bleeding about nutrition and that kind of thing. I was interested in it simply because I was the backup catcher. I got to play once every 5 days. So my thing was like, okay, typically it was a day game after a night game. People are dragging. So I'm thinking, how can I get an extra step on somebody here if I can have a good meal the day before and morning of, will that give me a little bit of an edge on someone? Because, talent-wise, just middle of the road at best. But if I could make it up some other way, I'm all for it. So that was a topic of conversation between me and that third base coach, David Bell, and just I don't know. I still scratch my head at how this stuff happens.
Well, it's great stuff, and it goes back to what we were talking about. The dehydrator, Virginia, we had a competition between her and Tom Lorish. A guy brought in some good stuff, and what were we doing? We were doing logs versus pucks, right? Logs versus pucks, and that went over pretty well. But again, it was all food, and Sandy, you put it perfectly. It's like it's very simple to evaluate actually some of this stuff, not get caught up in the marketing hoopla, and not get just kind of all of a sudden brainwashed or hypnotized by some of this stuff, but to say, look, is that even real food? And then to not get frustrated when you go, hey, well, I did have a Cliff Bar. It is what it is. But if it's what you're doing the majority of the time, you can be in trouble, if it doesn't fit that food category. And then, mostly plants, right? Mostly plants. Most of the food should come from there. When we see Virginia's stuff, routine, mostly plants, a little bit of animal product, and it's always organic. Great combinations, good stuff. Hey, tips and takeaways as always as we come down to the show. Remember, join us next week. We got Bill Grunler from CrossFit. And then the following week, we got Samantha Pruitt coming back, talk with Left Lane Sports, talk a little bit about this marathon coming up on April 9th, slow marathon. But tips and takeaways from tonight's show. Adam, you start.
Milk bad. Enough said.
Milk bad. Milk worse with Splenda in it. Sandy, tips and takeaways from tonight's show. And I know a little quick shout out for you.
I like this Adam guy. He's got some good stuff to say. Shout out to my son Zion and my daughter Alana.
Yeah, tips and takeaways from the show, though. What can somebody take away from tonight's show? Learn to be better tomorrow. Make something to help them live the run a little bit better.
Take care of those feet. Those 2 little feet will carry you a long way. Train hard and make sure your training's complete.
Yeah, no question. And I'll say, change that mindset. Make sure that mindset isn't what you were doing when you were 18 if you're 40. Make sure that mindset adapts with you as you physically adapt as well, as crucial as anything. Well, shoot, a ton of fun as always. Max, great show. Way to throw in that Greg Brown, Max. We're going to throw some music at you, I think, a little bit more often. Adam, wonderful to have you back. Look forward to having you next week again with Bill Grunler, CrossFit. Sandy Sachs, partner, chiropractor, and now radio co-host. We're doing it all, man. Appreciate very much you coming in. Anyway, as we say on this show, we live healthy, we live bold, we come live the run.